Today I'm going to talk about where do I fit into this continuous testing world, skills and mindset needed. So let's start talking a little bit about myself. So my name is Larissa Rosochansky. I am a senior manager at CINT. Before that, I used to be the head of testing services at IBM Brazil, and I also work at the Avanade as the head of intelligent. Do a little walk down the memory lane and talk a little bit how the evolution of software development and test evolved. So let's just start with the beginning. In 1961, a simple software error led an aircraft to crash. So the Air Force demanded that all critical missions should have independent verification. So that's where the validation and verification discipline was born. So let's go forward into 1970s, 1980s, the age of computers. So formal test methods and the key metric is the same key metrics that some of them we still use up to this date that were created by them. So in 1990s, the plot thickens. The personal computers got cheaper, the software was released more frequently, and the tests were abandoned. There was no time for it. They were tested by the final user with support teams fixing the bugs. The supporting costs were sky high. So we do not need to test it. We think testing is overrated and the user does all the testing. But we are starting to really form the test methodology itself, the 2000s, the age of internet. So we have easy access to software updates, bug fixes. So we have the reduces the supporting costs and even more the quality of the product. So the belief was that the date was the biggest concern and not much the quality. And fixes could come without big issues because they were easier to distribute. So testing is mandatory, is cheaper, but we start to talk about the testing strategy, and testing has its own agenda. With late 20s, we start to see agile. So many .com fails and a new way of develop and test emerges. Speed to market, quality, and multidisciplinary approach is the new way now. So we start to talk about testing in smaller chunks, testing sooner, testing often. Testing is manual and automated, and testing needs to be incremental. By then, we decide to say, okay, we need to test it, but we're not going to test manual anymore. Everything needs to be automated. So we start to see huge, huge automation test suites. We get all the all these test suites we had manually, and then we go and say, let's automate everything, and we start to automate it, and we forget to maintain those. 2010 DevOps. Then this is where we are nowadays. We need a new way to implement this new software created that is as agile as the development, breaking barriers. And for that, we need to consider continuous integration and also continuous testing. Testing is smaller pieces, testing sooner, often, and at different times. Testing is manual and automated. Testing needs to be incremental. Testing goes to the product and ops as well. So here we start to see that testing cannot be huge testing suites. Testing cannot be huge automation suites. We need to test in smaller pieces. We need to consider the testing automation pyramid, the testing pyramid. We need to start automation unit testing and automation components testing, and then starting considering do manual testing for the end-to-end testing. So we start to seeing a good mix of manual testing, exploratory testing, and also automation testing as well. We start to see a lot of API testing. We start to see a lot of automation testing in terms of contract testing, API testing. So a lot of background testing and less of UI testing, automation UI testing, I mean, and more exploratory testing. So, into this world, what are the mindset and skills needed? So, when we talk about what we need in terms of skills, we need to be able to create, to consider, to think about the test strategy. We need to be able to do the automation test for the unit test, for the component test, for the contract test, for the lower basis of the test pyramid. We need to still be able to do manual testing. We need to know very well the test pyramid. We need to be able to do the exploratory testing, the manual exploratory testing for the top layer of the pyramids. We need to consider all the agile testing quadrants, the ones that we see in the agile testing from Lisa Crispin and Janet Gregory. We need to know about agile. We need to know about DevOps, pipelines, Git, Jenkins. We need to know management tools, Jira, and some task management tools if available, but they are not necessary, not mandatory. The mindset, we need to have the quality mindset, not the testing, but the quality mindset. We need to be aware, we need to be concerned of the quality of the product, the quality of the process. And we need to infuse this built-in quality into the whole process and into the team as well. We need to have this lean, agile mindset to have the flow, always concerned about the flow and also with the continuous improvement always. We need to be really aware that the whole team approach, the team-based approach, where it says that the quality belongs to the whole team, not only for the QA, for the tester. Everyone owns quality. So this is really important. So these are the skills that are needed, necessary for us to thrive into this continuous testing world. So guys, thank you very much.